Alrighty, welcome everybody. It is Weapons Day, and we are here for episode 9 of Wonder Egg Priority. Gotta get all of the puns out. There you go. God, fucking shit, I need to cut my hair. We are here for episode 9 of Wonder Egg Priority. Last week we watched episode 7 of Wonder Egg Priority, and those that don't know, episode 8 is a recap. I went ahead and I watched through part of it today, a little bit earlier. I just sort of skimmed it just to see if there was anything novel or new or interesting. It's narrated by Akka and Ura, which is kind of neat. Their tone is still as sinister and creepy and like, no, I don't trust you as possible. And they constantly throughout the episode are like lampshading and being like, oh yeah, it seems like you don't trust us. That's weird. Why wouldn't you just trust us? And the answer is, I don't know. There's something really creepy about you. I don't understand. However, last week's real episode was episode 7, and episode 7 dealt with Rika stuff, and Rika stuff is serious business. She's got rough relationship with her mother. She's got a strong temptation to give in to all sorts of things that are gone through in the episode, and then we have her self-harm and all of these things that make Rika Rika. We really get to see behind her shell and through her armor in episode 7, and it's heartbreaking. I found episode 7 to be a really hard one to watch, and just as hard an episode to discuss. It was a lot, and honestly, props to the show for making it as much a lot as they made it, because there are some serious topics in there, and up to this point, I think they've done a really good job engaging with these topics in an interesting way. There are some little bits in the episode that have sparked some discussion in the comments and have sparked some discussion on Discord around whether people think that it's been handled well, and some people coming at it from a perspective of their own self-harm or their own depression or their own relationships with their families, finding, like, as I did, little bits of it that do resonate with them and bits of it that don't resonate with them, and more importantly, bits of it that don't seem to be like Rika is learning the right lessons. And I think that's a really interesting thing to say and to show, because one thing that I will put forth about the episode is that people don't always learn the right lesson to get themselves out of self-harming behavior or other behaviors. Sometimes they learn different lessons and they lead to similar results, and that can sometimes still be really valuable. I don't think that there are like universal rights for everybody, and I do think that everyone should have universal rights, but I don't think there are universal right paths for everybody, or at least if there are, I don't think everybody at every point in their life is ready to hear those. I know that there have been significant portions of my life where I have ignored really good advice, that I have later on, when I'm ready for it, it has sunk in and become a part of the way that I live my life. And I think that's something important to remember when you're dealing with or watching people who are doing things that are actively harming themselves. And I don't necessarily just mean cutting or self-harm in that kind of way, but like behaviors that hurt them, addiction, having bad relationships with their families, which I am guilty of. Things like that can take time to actually overcome in a useful way, and people can spend a lot of time finding that path, and I think that journey takes different paths and different times for basically everyone. So seeing what Rika saw in the previous episode as she tried to save the girl who was involved in a cult, and this sort of idea of cosmic connection and seeding the self and destroying the ego in a kind of an unhealthy sort of way. Like, I'm all about destroy your own ego and recognize the powerful communal nature of society and humanity and the universe, but there are ways to go about that, and there are ways that it becomes really harmful, and this cultist girl was very much an example of what not to do, and the temptations that are not helpful. I don't know. Episode 7 still has me fucked up. To put it in clear terms, it still has me fucked up. And maybe there are things in that episode that I don't get yet and won't get for another couple of years. And then I'll go, but we'll see. As it stands, we're going to watch episode 9 of Wonder Egg Priority, and I don't expect things to get better for me as we watch through this. It's probably going to be a really good episode, and it's probably going to hurt Great. I don't know what we're going to focus on in this one. We've had sort of our deep dive into Rika. We've got a bunch of stuff that's floating around up in the air around Ai and Sawaki and Koito and all of that jazz. I don't know if we're going to turn our attention more specifically to focus on one of the other characters like Neru or Momo. But I do know, I think the most useful thing from watching through episode 8, the recap episode, was that I know the title of the next episode, and it is A Story No One Knows, which strikes me as paradoxical because stories are things that are told. They're not just what happened. And I admit that it's probably being used in the situation of like a sequence of events that happens that no one was there to observe. But a story that no one knows is not a story. It's something that can't be told. It's an observation of something occurring. So I'm intrigued by that title, and I'm intrigued to see where we go with it and what content it actually refers to. So without further ado, which I shouldn't say because in and of itself it is making further ado. Let's watch episode 9 of Wonder Egg Priority. I've got the ep up and ready. It is at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions. You can find picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, beep beep timer to sync. And if you want next week's episode a little bit early, it'll be up on Patreon sometime the day that this goes live on YouTube. Let's go. Beep beep timer. Neru. Huh? What? Hey? Oh! It's so out of character. Impossible. You always have a reason. Get over it, Rika. Oh, there we go. She's over it. I think we have everything. Of course you would. Cool. Oh, fuck you, Rika. What are you thinking, Rika? Oh, they actually decided on something. Good job, Neru. Good job, Neru. You did a make a friend. You did a make a friend, inviting people to your house. How wonderful. Now we'll see what Neru's life is like. It's probably a fucking McMansion. I love her shoe sock combo. So great. Oh, I've got a nose tickle. Oh no. Ah! Turning bright red. Ah, tickles. Fuck. Okay. Whoa. A what? A what? What? You fucking what? That's kind of terrifying. I want to be clear and in full. Yeah, no, there's relation from this to Egg World for sure, right? I'm the heiress. Oh my god, who are you? And she takes it that way. Oh, okay, so it's Super Mensa. It's Super Mensa. Cool. A very hyper intelligent thing to say. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, what? No, she doesn't. Yeah. So that's weird. She's literally kind of an experiment. And so when she talked about her sister, she doesn't mean a blood related sister. She means another experiment from the same like group. Whoa, that's weird. But she's the president. Of course. Empty fish tank. Oh. Oh. Awesome. That sounds like a lot of responsibility, honestly. Here's your secret present. Is it? Oh, you're doing a makeover. I see. All right, that's cute. All right, that's cute. Sh- sure. Sure. Yada. Okay. Cute. Hmm. Hmm. Sure. Oh God. Jesus, please. Hmm. Hmm. That's super cute. That's not that cute, honestly. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Oh. Uh. Okay. Okay. Whoa. What? Okay. I was gonna say. Uh-huh. I don't know about that. Cool. Why is she in stasis now? Ah. Whoa. So she was observing the other side herself. What? I love the way they're showing albinism, making it truly beautiful. That's awesome. She's existing out here, like, fully. Children of Science. Okay, sure. She also has Otoai. What was that? Fully a scientist. Observe, observe. Are you doing this to Neru? Oh, fucking what? Thanks, Pinky. What the what? Okay. She just loves new things. Yeah, this is serious business, but I live on. Okay. Sure. All right, Pinky's a badass. Right. You're gone from me. Jesus fuck. Still very real to her. Pinky's a beast. I mean, literally, but what? Yes. What? What? Okay, mad scientist bird. That was neat. That was very neat. Pinky! Okay. Her egg dreams are always on this bridge. I guess it's where the stabbing happened. Fair. Don't. You in reality is gone. You just said that. End me? So, assisted suicide to an extent. Uh-oh. To the top of the bridge we go. That's true. Okay. 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 Okay, bye. What are you, dude? Okay, you're the science that wants to take over. Oh. Got it. Nah, your time has ended. No. Yup. Ah. Yo, stop it. Yay! That was sick as hell. God damn, Neru. What the fuck? Sweet. Sweet. Let's go. And cut to reality? No? Okay. Shit. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares, man. Ooh. Oh no. Oh. Is that literally squaring the circle? It's literally squaring the okay. Bingo. You just use a proof. Oh. He's gonna Hulk the fuck out. Wait, did he just kill himself or is he hulking out? Oh. Hey, you laughed. Whoa, we are actually watching this shit? What the fuck? Are they also watching with her? It is what she wants, okay. And she hasn't. Sure. You're a sample too, right, Neru? She's already dead. Looks like it, but isn't. Yeah. Right. Fair enough, Momo. No, it doesn't. No, this is real death. Hmm. Already have it. That's true. Like, this is still super hard for her. There's a reason she kept resisting. Thank you, I. This is a weird one. You don't need to change Neru's mind, I don't think. She made a promise, man. Aye. Wait, what? Oh, what? Fickety fackety fuck. Ha! Okay. Ah, damn it, you're so good at being empathetic. Oh, you're so good at this. Yeah. Yeah, we saw the wavering. Ooh, yeah, me too. Ugh. All right, Aka, what the fuck are you? Are we moving to the end? You're welcome. Lights out. She's leaving? Wonder who wrote that. Okay, this is by far the weirdest episode of Wonder Egg Priority. The thing that really fucks me up is if they really knew that the reason was us, so what are Aka and Aka representative of? What the what? Ooh. Confession. Love confession? Or, like, sinister confession? Or neither. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So there are some things in this episode that are very clear, very straightforward. Our metaphor for assisted suicide / euthanasia on people who are currently brain dead is clear and there, and it's difficult and people reject it. Momo and Rika both have a hugely hard time doing so. I, as usual, is the one who's able to find a way to empathize and get Neru to open up about it, which is great. That's classic I stuff. The I mean, I can talk about my own perspective on assisted suicide, but I don't know if that's terribly valuable. I will just simply say that my perspective is that it should be allowed. It should entirely be legal. However, there are huge amounts of problems, and every situation is super different for that, and almost never do you get the sort of situation where you can like go into someone's mind after they are dead and have a dream that you know is also their reality, where they specifically and explicitly ask you to help them die, and help them pass on. Nor is there the promise of like being dissected and being put through the ringer by scientists if you're not assisted to die soon. So while it's pretty clear cut what we're talking about, the way that we're talking about it is such a specific example and such a specific instance that it doesn't have as much of a broad reaching like lesson to be learned about the nature of like the legalistic nature and the moralistic nature of the action. And it doesn't seem like we really focus on that so much as we focus on the emotional aspect of the equation, which is the willingness to let go of somebody and to be the one who lets them pass. um Weird, very weird. Then we take that piece of story and we pile on top of it the reveal, which is an interesting reveal that keeps me intrigued for sure, but it doesn't really tell us anything. We've known that, like, Akka and Uraka, there's something sinister here. Now we have, they are directly connected to Plati, probably. They are directly connected to the woman who like runs Neru's life, as we've seen, most certainly, and connected to that organization. And it seems clear that the technology that they are working on for like dream tech is somehow related to the egg tech, whatever the fuck that is. Cool. Don't know what to believe about what her friend, what Kotobuki says. Don't know what to believe. How much of what she says about there being parallel worlds and stuff is accurate, and even if it is, how much of that matters to our individual characters? I don't know. There are things there that are like obviously meant to be taken as truths from us. This idea that as you die, adrenaline, something, something, something brings you to a field of flowers. We see that all the time. They end up in that field of flowers. Neru does not, but the rest do. That's really interesting and weird, but I don't know what to link it to at the moment. So I feel like I'm missing something, or that the something is intentionally missing, and I'm unable to determine which one is which. Do you know what I mean? Like, either I missed something in the episode that makes this all click, or that piece that would make everything click is intentionally being held out as part of the mystery, and I'm not sure which. And I think this is a really crucial fine line that has to be walked in almost every mystery, is how much do you withhold from the audience, and what do you withhold in what way? Because if you withhold things in a way that the people watching feel like they just missed something, then it doesn't feel, the mystery isn't quite right. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. This one doesn't feel the same, and I don't have a quantitative way of specifically putting my finger on precisely what it is about this episode that doesn't quite scratch the itch that pretty much every episode of Wonder Egg Priority has hit for me. And maybe it's just because it's less clear cut. It's less like we don't quite understand the relationship between Neru and Kotobuki the way that, because so much of their relationship is unstated and is them back and forthing. Maybe it's just because these characters are written to be intentionally kind of too smart to grapple with their concepts, and the way that they think is on a slightly higher order, but I'm not sure that's the case. It feels a little off. And maybe that's production stuff, but this is like a writing and flow thing. The way that the writing and the way that the flow of each episode has been so far has been very particular and really stellar, and this one doesn't feel like it hits the same beats to me. Now that could be because we're pivoting into sort of end game direction for the show, which would make sense, but I don't know. It feels a little off. Um I'm trying to decide whether I just want to watch the episode again, and I think I do. I think I really just want to watch it fully again, so I might do that. Hmm. Hmm. Give me a minute to think. I'm gonna go grab some more tea, and consider what to do next. See you in a moment. Okay, I've decided to just skim through it, and I've done so the once. Instead of fully rewatching the episode. I will say that visually, this episode is pretty striking and interesting. It centers around Neru, and so does the camera through most of the episode. Let's talk quickly roses and thorns. So, like, things that I really like about the episode, and then things that get a little bit iffy for me. Um, the character interactions are fantastic in this one. We continue to see the growth of the friendship between these girls, and the way that bringing up the issues of euthanasia causes rifts between the girls is also a huge part of that. And I think that the way that Rika and Momo initially react to that is fantastic and very real. Presenting alternative viewpoints and presenting different people's perspectives on it, different to Neru, who we as observers see as she's relatively cold. Like, she wants to reach out and grow friendships and gain those things, but she is a cold individual who we can see very quickly making this decision. It certainly is tough for her, and we do see behind her mask a little bit, as she talks about her own difficulty with pushing that button. But it's the interplay between the characters and the way that Momo and Rika respond to the presentation of this sort of conundrum in Neru's life that I think is really interesting. I will again say that I am in favor of general legalization of assisted suicide. I think it's important. I think it's a human right. Um, but in this circumstance, the reasons that they put forth, emotional as they are, versus the hard rationality of Neru and of Kotobuki, are an interesting interplay and an interesting way to see these characters. Same same with the surprise that we see in the very beginning sequence, which I can't understate how well this opening sequence is done. Lots of these super close-up shots and the back and forth, giving us a lot of emotional content from the characters, especially Rika, who, as usual, is going way over the top with her responses. But just having her kind of freak out and like, this is impossible. You would never invite us over to your house. How could this happen? Is really cute and very cool. Okay, through the OP we go, and into new territory we enter. So this character who I now have, I had to look her up on Mal, but it's Misaki. Using the technology developed here, it is possible to analyze brainwaves and convert the subject's dreams to video. And she keeps going in the background. They're not dreams, though. And so our girls take some solace in being like, oh, yeah, Misaki just thinks that these are dreams. Easy peasy, no problem. We know that Misaki knows about Aka and Ura Aka, so she knows that these are not just dreams. They're something else. Are they parallel worlds or some kind of in-between state between life and death of like limbo and stuff? We don't get enough to know. Get a sexy fantasy, blah blah blah, but Misaki continues on in the background, dumping some interesting tidbits. We'll one day be turning this into clarity and into full color. I personally have a lot of interest in like BMIs, in like brain machine interfacing, and the concepts that surround that, and the sort of moral and philosophical and transhumanist views that come out of just considering the impact of such technology. So I'm really kind of at this point in the episode really fascinated by what is this group trying to accomplish? What is this organization and this company actually going for? And I don't know. I just don't know. Okay. Here's the stuff that makes things kind of whack. We dump a lot of like huge reveals in really totally not interesting ways. Like, I think it's fair to say that we could make a whole 12 episode, 13 episode story around just finding out that Neru is herself a test subject. Like, not just a test tube baby born to parents who couldn't conceive otherwise, but is specifically like they took spermatozoa and eggs from individual people, and she is like the result of a breeding program trying to create hyper intelligent individuals for some reason. And that's kind of fucking crazy. That's some crazy gonzo science stuff. That's really interesting and also strikes me as deeply sinister. There's something about it that's powerfully unnatural and odd and weird. Okay, so knew you were really smart, born via artificial insemination of a member. That's why you never had parents. And like Rika's response is they won't tell you who your parents are, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't have parents. So, right, there would be no point. It's just a pairing. And yeah, Rika takes that into perspective. Interesting. Okay, we see the bear, which is the one element of any kind of like humanity in this whole shot, in this whole scene, which is stark and silver and gray and glass and metal and very mechanical, right? Like we're going over to Neru's home, and I understood that Neru was hyper rich and involved in this organization, in this company, but I thought we were talking like a conglomerate and she was the heir apparent to it with no family. No, she is the like top experiment of it, and they're calling her president because she's like been bred to be the leader of their company. There's some weird shit going on here, and that stuff is interesting. But it's so interesting that it's really weird to me that it takes the back burner of the episode. Obviously, the focus of our story is finding out these tidbits of information and focusing on the emotional context for our characters. And there's definitely and obviously some stuff going on with the idea of like a rat in a cage and her continuing to take care of this rat for Kotobuki is really interesting. There's also a fun gag when she first I'm not gonna find it, where she first whips out the takoyaki machine a little bit later and is just like staring at it. But yeah, we do a girl stuff. We do some cute girl stuff. I love Momo's like perspective on this, where she's like, I get to do the cool girl stuff that like paint nails and things, yay! And this is very cute. Of course, Rika is the blatant over the top pink. Momo goes for a simple pink. Eyes are pretty, and Neru's I don't like the green. I'm sorry, I just don't. But I do love eyes blue and purple. It's very cute for her. And yeah, okay. All sharing our dreams now. And that is precisely what they do in a moment after this. Everyone has a dream. For Ai, it's really simple. For Rika, it's maybe absurd. She wants to travel around, go to an English-speaking company, and marry a hot foreign guy. Sick. Cool. I forget what Momo wanted. I just forget. But Neru just wants to be herself, which is interesting. And now we meet her friend, Kotobuki. Born at Japan Plati, another experiment of sorts, and is now in a vegetative state. The way that they portray albinism and the way that they draw Kotobuki, specifically the choice to use like blue line art for like facial hair and eyelashes and stuff, makes her really ethereal and beautiful, and I really like that a lot. And I appreciate the way that all the other characters think that she's gorgeous too. It's really cool. I don't know about albinos being supposed to bring good fortune. I think in a lot of cases, albinism has been looked at as like weirdness and something to be ostracized, and I think that's really unfortunate. But this is a cool perspective on it that I really appreciate. I think that's great. Straight up doctor of psychiatry, analyzing the mysteries of life, specifically death, performing near-death experiments, and then eventually not coming back. Again, this is cool and interesting, but it doesn't seem to align with the story that we're telling yet. Now, that could be because we're missing the pieces that glue this together with the rest of the story, but it feels a little weird to just insert all of this stuff about near-death experiments and like venturing beyond the veil, and then we jump into parallel worlds and multiverse theory and parallel timelines and like other spaces and weird liminal whatevers. And I don't feel like any of that is necessary because our show has been grounded not in science at all. It's been grounded in metaphor and in symbolism, and we've been able to take the dreams of the egg girls as being both real and unreal, both like something that our characters genuinely experience, but also as a metaphor for overcoming trauma and their experiences. Now we're trying to say that these are just real places that they're visiting, and that seems strange to me. Now it's totally valid to do so, but in a way, it's as though we were watching Revolutionary Girl Utena and or Penguin Drum, and then we're telling you that like, oh, when Utena goes into the dueling arena, she's actually transferring across dimensions in order to fight people in their own like. No, that's it. We don't need to talk about those things. We don't need to make everything real in a scientific perspective in a show that's so obviously and so strongly built on emotional content and emotional context. We don't need to explain those things. So I find it a little bit, and I think it actually takes away from the show to try to explain those things. We'll see how this plays out in the future. I'm not going to completely indict the show immediately because it brought up some like tried to add some science into this stuff. Besides, it makes sense that perhaps Kotobuki is wrong, right? She may think that these are liminal spaces and blah 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 blah, and they may not be. She may physically, like, her existence may not be. Kotobuki may not be a person living on in the egg dreams. In fact, none of the egg girls may be. They could all be dreams related to trauma, and characters, our main characters, like not reflecting. Oh fuck. I know the word that I'm looking for. Holy shit. Projecting. Thank you. Wow, that took me way too long to figure out. Projecting their own ideas and understanding of the world onto these characters. Neru with her scientific mindset, putting that on Kotobuki, and also Neru knows what Kotobuki wants and has spent a long time not making it happen yet. She knows about Kotobuki's fears around being touched, and being dissected and being used as an experiment against her will by other doctors. So who knows, man? Who knows? But I don't think we need to spend so much time in the episode doing all of that stuff. Now, we enter into this dream world, and the first thing that we get from Kotobuki is a scientific and questioning attitude, asking questions about everything. And we see this throughout this whole journey that we go through. We see her fascination with everything around her and her scientific mind, which is really cool and a great way to write this character, which is great. I'm not bored. I get a chance to say goodbye. I'd better thank God, but we are not children of God. Interesting. And then here's our core question that comes up in the beginning of the episode, or the beginning of the egg portion, the egg episode. Fuck, somebody put me out of my misery. just take me out. Hire a sniper. Egg episode. Fuck. That's gonna take some time to recover from. You'll protect me, right? That's the whole question of the episode. All of the responses, the emotional responses that that Rika and Momo have to the concept of euthanasia come down to this question, and all sort of burn away when we look at it from this perspective. Something will happen to Kotobuki that she doesn't want to happen. You'll protect me, right? This is my trauma. I don't want to be experimented on. And Neru says yes, eventually. It's hard for her to sacrifice somebody in order to protect them, but she has to, and she knows logically that Kotobuki is and has been dead for this whole time. So it all comes down to this: you will protect me, right? Or do you want me to protect you? No. And yeah, oh, that's nice. What a lovely weapon. Just examining everything, looking at everything from a scientific perspective. Very interesting. Let's really enjoy ourselves, and we get this guy, this bird science doctor man. Creepy. I love Pinky. He's the bomb. Super cool snake. Love him a lot. Why did you die? Why couldn't you come back? And she doesn't answer the question. When adrenaline enters the brain, they say you see a field of flowers to overcome the fear of death. Interesting, because we have seen that field of flowers many times. But she believes that it is an actual space. I wanted to pick one and bring it back to you. I will say that this whole pinky on the highway zoomin' thing is really cool. Parallel worlds do exist. I don't know why we need this. I don't know. The possibility of worlds that might have been. So it's not precisely parallel worlds, it's parallel timelines and possibilities. Okay. It was your favorite genre of fiction, and I agree, it's one of my favorite genres as well. Our parallel selves are alive. That's nice, but I can't ever see you again. They end up they end up talking past each other a lot, which is interesting. Commonplace, can't be so philosophical about it. And I don't know what she means by this. At stage 4 Thanato, there was a sweet smell like honey. What the fuck are you talking about? The temptation of death. Not so much temptation, more like my mind and body were abducted against my will. And is that what Akka and Uraaka are doing? I don't know. Okay, so this guy, it's he's like one of the least easy to comprehend monster bad guy wonder killer dudes. And because he is one of the weirdest ones, he has to just step up and tell us exactly who he is and what his role is, which strikes me as like a flaw in the episode. Like, if we had done a little bit of a better job of setting up Kotobuki's desire to not be experimented on, then we could pretty intuitively understand what this science bird is all about. I guess it's good enough. It's fine. But a lot of the conversations that we have don't seem to make sense yet. Maybe they'll click into place as we get more information. No matter what it takes, I'll go to the place where you died. And Kotobuki tells us that that's not possible. I'll bring your statue back to, you can't envision dying. You can't reach an abstract place. You can't manifest that out of your ideas. So I'll use near-death experiments too. No. What would happen to me in reality? What would happen if you died or became vegetative like I have? No. You're needed in reality in order to end me, in order to protect me. Fuck. The government will come. It's just a container. You've got to get rid of it. You must know what I want you to do. Oof. So selfish. Don't consider others' feelings. Abnormality is more fun. So snarky and I don't know. I don't know if I like Kotobuki very much. I understand why she's friends with Neru, but she's like the past friend of Neru. I'll make friends with those girls in another world line. She truly believes that. I don't know if it's worth believing. We just don't know enough to know. Ow, ow, ow. Cut you open, analyze you, and return to those glorious days. So this is my trauma. Yeah, and he has to very literally be like, I'm this guy. This is my motivation. I blah, 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 blah. Which is fine, but I don't know. We've been able to... The only reason that it's not fine is because we've been able to do that without stating it explicitly in all of the other episodes. In every single one, we've been able to do it real well and understand the way that the trauma exists without explaining it explicitly. So, meh. Okay. This whole thing is fucking super cool. Also, I understand it's a compass, not a protractor. I fucked up the first time that I said that it was a protractor. Sorry. I was thinking things that do circles and angles and stuff, and it fucked up. Super cool way to make it into a weapon, gotta admit. I was kind of hoping that it would, like, railgun whatever, but instead it becomes a super duper dank-ass rocket propeller thing. Kind of like the undersea things that you hold on to with the little propellers on, you know? Very cool. I have numerous doctorates. Bow before me. They're like, no, we are the experiments. Okay, so we try to square the circle, and they come up with the answer, and I guess he just fully kills himself because he feels bad about that. What? Fried chicken. I don't know if that's a thing that I should recognize or something. I don't know. Okay, so we see that Misaki is watching through all of this. What should you do? Say it in words. I'll disconnect your life support, and the promise has been made. Okay, so we come up with all of these different reasons. You're not even related. You can't just, there is no one related to her. She's an experiment, right? Like, fully test tube baby. There's no one else. If I delay, the government will come for her, and that will be explicitly against her wishes. I have to do this. Everything that Neru says is hyperlogical. And everything that Rika says is the exact emotional argument that gets made against euthanasia. But she is alive. Her body is alive, but she's not. She's gone, and she has been. Momo can't handle it either. She doesn't so much indict it, but just cannot be a part of it, cannot watch it. It's too much even if she asked you for it. I can't believe you're just going to do it. I certainly can. And yeah, not a field trip. No problem then. I won't get sentimental about stopping a dead person's respiration. Fair enough. And Rika says being smart is scary, and I think she's entirely right. This harkens back to the conversation that they had in the elevator where Neru deflects the compliments about her intelligence by saying it's not so much that, it's just that I think down logical pathways. Emotion doesn't factor into it. Even when it does factor into it, the decision is still made based on the logic of the situation. And that can seem ultra hyper cold to people who are more emotional innately, right? And it is ultra hyper cold. What I see is that the other two don't see is Neru hesitating. She sees that regardless of the logic, Neru knows that she's going to do this, that she has to do this, and yet she hesitates because this is her friend. And I think that's super reasonable and makes all of the sense in the world. You can have the right logic and know exactly what to do and not be able to do it because of the emotions involved. I think that's really very, very real. And we'll see how, if that comes into play in the future. But frankly, I'll say this. I'll just say this. If I were fully comatose and there was no hope of my return and I were in a vegetative state, I would want someone as logical as Neru to be there and to reasonably assess that I was not coming back and to end me. So I buckles up and buttons up her little sunflower thing, her kind of guard against the world, and she expresses a middle road where she empathizes both with the logic and with the more emotional responses. Now she's wrong, at least in Neru's viewpoint, that Kotobuki can hear you, but it is something that sinks in and makes everyone feel chastised. You should at least sleep on it. Fair enough. And everybody feels real bad. Ai goes back, might have better luck changing her mind alone, but she's not there to change her mind. That's not what this is about, right? And I don't think that they'll understand that. She doesn't want to change her mind. She just wants to be there for her, which, again, after we've seen this more than a couple times now, is what makes Ai so lovely, right? It makes her such a good friend. Hell, even Neru said it to her directly, right? A couple episodes ago. I might get through. Yes, but she's not trying to change her. I do think that this scene with the star projector is fucking awesome and really fucking cool. It just evokes so much science and beauty and reality and universe and universes. It's really interesting. Okay. President Aonuma is getting closer to the truth behind the temptation. Excuse me. The temptation of death. Kotobuki did give her a hint. What that hint was, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's the thing about the multiple worlds, and more importantly, the like thing that she said about sweet honey at the 4th level of Thanatos. I don't know what the fuck to take away from that. If it is a hint, it's too obscure for me to get it. I just don't grok it yet, but that's okay. And we see that, bum, 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 they're working together. How odd. Something, something, innocent sorrow. Okay. You managed to deflect her with an excuse, though. Okay. If we told them the real reason, none of them would fight. So what is the real reason? Gah. Not if they knew the root cause is the two of us. Okay, so Akka and Ura-Akka, what do you represent? What, because we're again back into subliminal space, or like symbolic space. The root cause is the two of us. So what are Akka and Ura-Akka the yin yang of? What? I don't know. I think they would actually fight against you, and this gets revealed to these two. Because they're girls, they understand girls' sorrows. What's going on? They're all connected, and out we go from there. I want to hear. Ai is so fucking good. I love the use of the shadows on the walls from the projector. Really cool. Ai comes in, and you came to stop me, and her answer is no. I just want to know about Kotobuki. Really fantastic. Ai is so good at this. Just so good at this. Why did she want you to do that for her? She doesn't want to be touched by adults. She doesn't want to be dissected. And I is able to like pull out the real reason from Neru, who would hit it from the logical perspective instead of the emotional perspective of what this person wants, right? Like, it's one thing to say, no, this is the right thing to do because she's dead already, and they look at her and go, but she's breathing, she's not. That logic doesn't track. But telling them she is going to be experimented on by the government, and she asked me explicitly not to let that happen, it's the thing that she would hate the most in the entire world, they're gonna understand that. And she finally cracks. But my fingers shook. So the Koito Kokuri thing, which is it's kind of like Ouija, but not really. There are all sorts of these odd subliminal fortune telling sorts of games, and it ended up landing on yes. I wondered if she'd be that happy if she'd moved it herself. Super interesting. I don't know, man. Maybe I moved it without knowing, but I really don't know. It's a cool story. I'm not sure. It doesn't quite resonate with me. I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not sure what she means by that's what fantasy is. If you've got ideas on this particular part, I'd love it if you would comment those, because I'm unclear on this. So they push the button together. Scheduled for collection tomorrow morning. And they know about this, and it's as though there's like a part of it that's important. I don't know. So Ura-Akka made Neru's Wonder Egg Kotobuki as though to allow this to happen, which gives us some kind of hint at who Akka versus Ura-Akka are, but I'm not sure. And then there's this whole quote section, which I did look up, and this is all, it's a quote section from Charles Baudrillard, who is known for a real serious melancholy that is throughout all of his works, but he presents this idea of being drunken in order to get through life, whatever that drunkenness means. And I feel like Neru is leaving her location, like she's taking her favorite books and leaving this place. Now that Kotobuki is gone, there's no reason for her to come back to that room. Wonder what's going to happen to the rat? Don't know. But we cut off there with We Only Live Once. And I feel an implication that that's not supposed to be, we're not supposed to take that as inherently true. Do we only live once? YOLO or NOLO? I don't know. I don't know. This episode is throwing me for a loop, not in the same way that the really excellently done harsh harsh truths of previous episodes have, or harsh perspectives have in previous episodes, but because I'm not sure what we're going for at this point. And I don't know if this is what people, people have talked about, oh, the end of Wonder Egg Priority feels like it falls apart a little bit. We'll see if they stick the landing come the final episode. I don't know if this is that. I don't feel like there's huge production issue or anything like that. I do feel a bit of a squish, as though we're trying to throw a bunch of information at the wall and see what sticks in order to set us up for a finale run. We'll see as this plays out over future episodes if they can wrap these interesting scientific concepts that seem kind of out of nowhere into the emotional content that we've been getting. Then that'll be great. If they can't, then maybe the ends of this rope are going to start coming untangled. I'm not sure. There's definitely some kind of an imbalance occurring in this episode that doesn't hit me the way that the other ones do. And maybe that's the subject matter. Maybe it's just because of the way that Neru sees the world, and so we're seeing into her perspective, and it's a lot less like she's just as emotional as anybody else, but she's a lot more reserved. So maybe it's just the feeling of an episode about a reserved character being more reserved. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is an interesting one. I still really like it. I still think it was pretty solidly directed, and there are a lot of great scenes and great shots, and really, as usual, excellent character moments, especially the painting of the nails and the big response to the revelation about what Neru is supposed to do for/to Kotobuki. But, okay. Weird episode for Wonder Egg Priority. And that means a lot when we're saying for Wonder Egg Priority, this episode is weird, because Wonder Egg Priority is super weird all the way through. Okay, this is weird even for Wonder Egg Priority. All right, I'm going to wrap there. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Wepisode 9. I'll see you next week for Wepisode 10, and we will see what happens then. Peace.